In any case, I repeat and repeat, so that you may remember it well, not as you are in the habit of remembering other things, and on the basis of which you are accustomed to keeping your word of honor to others or to yourself, that no matter what language I use, I shall always and in everything avoid what I have called the bon ton literary language. With regard to this, it is an extremely curious fact, more worthy of study than you have any conception of, that from my earliest childhood, that is to say, ever since the birth in me of the need to rob birds' nests and to tease my friends' sisters, there arose in my planetary body, as the ancient Theosophist called it, and moreover why I don't know, chiefly in the right side, an involuntary instinctive sensation that up to the period of my life when I became a teacher of dancing was gradually formed into a definite feeling, and later, when thanks to this profession of mine I came in contact with people of many different types, the conviction also began to arise in what is called my mind that these languages, or rather their grammars, are composed by people who, with respect to knowledge of language, are exactly like those biped animals whom the esteemed Mullah Nasruddin characterizes thus: all they can do is wrangle with pigs about the quality of oranges. People of this kind, who have been turned by heritage and education into voracious moths, destroying the good prepared and left for us by our ancestors and by time, have not the slightest notion and have never even heard of the blatantly obvious fact that during preparatory age there is acquired in the brain functioning of every creature, and thus of man also, a definite property whose automatic manifestations proceed according to a certain law, which the ancient Corcolans called the law of association, and that the process of mentation of every creature, especially man, flows exclusively in accordance with this law. Since I've happened to touch upon a question that has recently become almost an obsession of mine, namely the process of human mentation, I consider it possible, without waiting for the place in my writings I had designated for the elucidation of this question, to speak, at least a little, in this first chapter, about some information that accidentally became known to me. According to this information, it was customary in long past centuries on earth for every man bold enough to aspire to the right to be considered by others and to consider himself a conscious thinker, to be instructed, while still in the early years of his responsible existence, that man has two kinds of mentation. One kind, mentation by thought, expressed by words, always possessing a relative meaning, and another kind, proper to all animals as well as to man, which I would call mentation by form. The second kind of mentation, that is, mentation by form, through which, by the way, the exact meaning of all writing should be perceived, and then assimilated after conscious confrontation with information previously acquired, is determined in people by the conditions of geographical locality, climate, time, and in general, the whole environment in which they have arisen and in which their existence has flowed up to adulthood. Thus, in the brains of people of different races, living in different geographical localities under different conditions, there arise in regard to one and the same thing or idea quite different, independent forms, which, during the flow of associations, evoke in their being a definite sensation giving rise to a definite picturing.